Good morning. It is July 14th. Look at that. It's getting pretty late in July now. I'm gotta move and do everything. But let's just talk a little bit about this morning. I'm so out of it this morning. I don't know if you can tell by my face, but I think a thing that keeps happening to me is I'm going to bed super late. So maybe 2 or 3 a.m. or something, just because I'm getting busy with editing and I'm just getting busy just playing on my phone. And then I wake up super naturally early. I think my body is a natural early morning riser. So I always wake up at 7 or 6 a.m. just naturally. And yeah, that's not really good because you only get 2 or 3 hours of sleep, so that's not great. So yeah, I find it a struggle in the morning recently. So hopefully I get my sleep schedule fixed and I can actually be productive. There's no running today, and I don't even think I'm gonna plan on working out today. I might work out later in the evening, but we'll see how that goes. But I want to talk a little bit about last night. The reason I kind of stayed up last night was I went back and rewatched a whole bunch of videos. So yeah, I watched all those past vlog content. I'll put all the images of which ones I watched. Boom. But wow, it's kind of crazy how far I've come, because I think that episode that I released yesterday was the best edited video I've done so far. Just that whole intro shot, and then I know vlogs are relatively simple to edit, but I don't know, just seeing where I started versus where I am now, I'm very, very proud of it. So that's one thing to look out for. Another thing to look out for was that my hair, when I first started vlogs, I don't know what I had going on. I had a weird fringe buzz cut situation going on, and it was just so weird, right? And now I have this weird grown out buzz cut thing. It's weird length. I kind of actually like this. This is actually about the time I would normally get my hair cut, because I don't really like having my hair too long. But I'm actually liking the length a lot, and I want to keep growing it out because I just want to see how it is. I want to see how I look with long-ish hair. To me, this is already long, but I think for most people this would be pretty short. So I'm just gonna see what I look like with longer hair. So I'm gonna have my barber. His name is Lou. I scheduled an appointment with him last night, but he's known me from the day that I got into Lubbock. The day I got to Lubbock, I looked for a barber, and then that same week I got a haircut by him. And I think he knows me pretty well, and I know him pretty well. And I think if you're a guy, I think girls might have this experience too, but cutting hair is pretty intimate, right? So you really get to know your barber, and then it's just something that goes on, especially if you're willing to talk to them and just get to know them. So I'm gonna write him a little thank you card, because this is probably the last time I'm gonna be seeing him in Lubbock, because I'm moving, right? So that'll be interesting, and I hope he likes it. And then I'm gonna try and flex my art skills a little bit. I'm gonna try and draw the outside of the building, but that's just practicing gratitude. I mentioned in that speech that I think practicing gratitude and showing people who are important in your life that you care is not never a bad thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. And then that was something I've been planning out for a while. So I have a bunch of other letters to write to some former professors, the people I shadowed with, and then just some friends and family. So yeah, that's gonna be the plan today. And then what else? Did I mention I was gonna get lunch with Ainsley? I'm gonna get lunch with Ainsley. We're gonna go to a Japanese place, talk about I don't know, national parks, Love Island, and Game of Thrones. Sure. So yeah, that's basically the agenda today. And then I think that's it. I'm ending the segment. Bye. Just the glasses and everything. This is what I made. Boom. Sorry for the shitty, what's it called? Shitty camera footage. I didn't realize that my thing was not centered, so that was my mistake on that, but I'm pretty okay with it. It's not the greatest. I just threw the storefront. These are supposed to be the back. There's supposed to be a pillar out front, but I'm not too happy with it. I haven't drew it in a while, but I just wrote him a little note on the back, and then yeah, I'm gonna give this to him tomorrow, and hopefully he likes it. So we'll see. But he's been cutting my hair for 2 years, so yeah, gotta do something nice for him. And then afterwards, I just wrapped up with lunch with Ainsley and Tyler. That went really well. Just talked about some crazy stuff that was happening, and then I don't know, just little life updates and everything. So we'll see what the rest of the day is planned, but I think I just stripped my bed sheets, so I'm gonna do all the cleaning stuff with that, and then I guess we'll figure something else out to do. So bye. Boom, and we're back. Okay, so I have no video segment planned. I have no plans for later in the day. And I think I've shot really boring videos for the past like 2, 3 days. So I'm gonna do a little like serious life segment. Boom, 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 serious life segment. And the vlog's ending right after this, so I'm not gonna add anything else. So this vlog will come out early. So if you don't wanna have the serious life segment and you don't really care about this, then go ahead and skip the video. It's fine. Normal upload tomorrow. I think that should be a little bit more interesting. But I think one thing that I mention all the time in these videos is that I'm applying to dental school. And I don't think I ever explained my reasoning why. And I explained my like my story and what's happened to me through it. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about that. So serious segment, and I hope you guys enjoy and you have some maybe good insights from this. So if you're applying to dental school, med school, graduate school, or something else, or just applying to college, maybe you can get you can extract some good like life advice from my story and everything. So that's the goal. Okay, where do I start? Okay, let's start in high school, because I think that's where I should really start about this. So throughout high school, I was pretty lost and I was really unsure of my career path. And I think one thing that I remembered so vividly was being so jealous of other people, specifically my sister. I love my sister a lot. We have a great relationship and everything. But my sister, she's always been very like driven and very, how do you say? I wouldn't say she's like ambitious, in a sense. No, she's like ambitious. I think she's just not very like, I don't even know how to say it, but she's always been a person who like, she knows what she kind of wants to do. And once she kind of puts her mind to it, the only obstacle in her way is herself, right? So like one example is like she wanted to do art, right? And then she got really good at art. And that was one thing I remember from childhood. She left high school knowing that she really enjoyed journalism, so she decided to pursue journalism, and then she became like the top one at her school, and then she eventually did an internship, and now she's working a great career in it. And it's just an interesting thing because to contrast, I don't think I'm like that at all. I think I'm a type of person, I get my own head very often about my career choices, my future, blah. I'm just very like in my own head about it. But she's able to just like ignore that, and then she'll start it and then she'll deal with it later. I think I'm a type of person that I have trouble starting it, but once I'm doing it, there's nothing that can stop me. So I guess that's how me and her contrast and compare. But I remember one thing that my dad said all the time about me and her, and which is such a horrible saying, by the way. Dad, I don't know why you say this, but he always said that my sister was not very smart, but she works very hard. And he always said that I was super smart, but I don't work that hard. I'm super lazy. And he said it's way worse to be smart and lazy than it is to be dumb and work hard. So he always said that my sister was going to be in a better career path than me. So yeah, that's a pretty horrible thing to say to your children. Thank you, Dad. But I think it's some of it's true and some of it's not true. I think I grew up a lot, so I don't think that that's necessarily true anymore. But yeah, let's just keep going about this. I'm sorry, this is unplanned. I have no script for this video. Yeah, but basically I was super lost and undecided in high school, and I've always been very academically capable and everything. So I was driven to a lot of career paths. So my dad thought that I could be a lawyer. My mom wanted me to do like full doctor work. A lot of my friends thought that I would do like business or something in that field. I think a lot of my students viewed me as like a teacher or eventually somebody who worked in like politics, because that was something I kind of cared about. But nobody really expected me to be in dentistry and in this science field besides for my mother and everything. But yeah, I think the real pivotal point and turning point was COVID. During COVID, the world shut down and the lockdown happened, and I think I think that was when I was really coming into my like social era. So I've always been a super shy kid, but I think within these like past couple years, I've really grown into my social side and my extrovert side. So one thing that I did all the time throughout that was we hopped on Omegle with my friends. And if you don't know what Omegle is, it's a video chat room service. And honestly, a lot of bad stuff goes on there. Do not go there. And yeah, honestly, most conversations you have on Omegle will last like 5-10 minutes. You'll be like, whatever, dude, blah. And you'll be rude to the person because you're never going to talk to them again. That's a stranger online across the world, right? But I met a man, his name was John, and I still remember every aspect of our conversation because I think it was that pivotal to me. And I'm not sure where he is now. I hope he's taking care, he's doing well, and maybe this video will come up on his recommendation. So shout out John. But John was a retired dentist for 46 years. He was a dentist for 46 years, and he had recently retired when I met him. And we had just met on Omegle. And I remember that conversation so vividly because we talked for 4 or 5 hours about everything, about life, about weather. He's from like Virginia. We talked about girls, we talked about history, and most importantly, we talked about career. And John gave me some excellent career advice. So, like I said before, he was a dentist for such a long period of his life. And I was telling him about how I was pretty unsure about my career path. I knew that I wanted to take care of my family. I knew I wanted to live a good lifestyle, and that's all I needed to be happy. I think I told him that I could do all these things, and then whatever job I work would be fine with me. I don't really care. And then he told me, why don't you become a dentist, and why not dentistry? And he started listing off all the good, positive aspects of dentistry, being your own boss, being able to take care of people, how entertaining it was, how his staff treated him, blah, 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 the respect and culture of it, blah, blah, blah. And to me, at 16, where I was super unguided, I took that advice and I really took it to heart. So I applied to college with the expectation that I would become a dentist. And I really didn't do any research about it. I only did the research that John told me. So I had no idea that I actually had to apply to dental school eventually. I had no idea that I had to take the DAT, which is the dental admission test. I had no idea that I needed to maintain certain GPAs and be involved in certain things to be a more well-rounded candidate. I really came into it super naive. And it was only later that I realized that that was such a big mistake, right? But during that time, it didn't really matter to me. I wanted the full college experience, and I wanted that to live my life a little bit in that era. But I think throughout my time in college, I constantly reflected on my career, and I constantly reflected on where my life was going and life after college, and was something that I thought about a long time. So I eventually became more and more serious about it. And that's when I think dentistry kind of became a thing that was a goal for me that I kind of understood, kind of did not, to something that was like a real tangible passion that I find really matters to me now. And I find I would describe as a passion for me. So yeah, I think I finally found my passion in response to my sister, I guess. But it's just something interesting because I think that's a type of story that you don't really hear from a lot of dental majors or people within the field. I think a very common essay topic or like life story that I hear a lot from my other pre-dents and just some stuff I read online is that, a lot of people, they have this experience that, I knew I wanted to do dentistry from when I was like 6 or 7 years old because I saw a bill on my dining room table from the dentist, and I saw how unaffordable it is and how much stress it put on my parents and blah, 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 blah. And that's what really drew me. I want to make it affordable. I want to do this, blah, 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 blah. When I was a little kid, I was so unsure of myself and I was so shy. But then having braces changed my life, blah, 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 blah. And I have a story kind of like that, but nothing fully to that extent. But to me, it'd feel really disingenuous if I made up a story like that. So yeah, that's how my story kind of started. But throughout my time in college, and especially through my experiences, it really shaped me into being fully committed to this path and doing these things. And I think the biggest thing was shadowing and getting out into the field and really experiencing it. So my first shadowing experience was really, really horrible. It was back in Wichita Falls, and it was not horrible because the doctor or because of the office. It was because of me. I was super naive. I didn't realize that you're supposed to show up in like kind of formal attire. You're supposed to bring a notebook and a notepad and write down your experiences and what you're observing. So when I came, I was woefully unprepared. I just showed up in the clothes that I came to class with. I didn't have a notebook or pen. I was there just observing. And it initially drew me away. So what drew me in was the atmosphere, like how warm and inviting it was. And then what drew me away was the actual dental work, which is really, really bad. Really, really, really bad. But yeah, that's how my first experience went, because I constantly filled my head after that first experience, like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could hunch over the chair and work on people's teeth like that, blah, 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 blah. And it's something that I got really stuck with for a while. So I didn't shadow for a good bit after that. But I knew it was something that I'd eventually have to do and get comfortable with. And it wasn't until I moved to Lubbock where I especially got to do it a whole bunch. And I was so blessed with a good mentor and the two doctors I shadowed here. Dr. Metter was one of them, and Dr. Sorry, oh my gosh. Yeah, Dr. Metter was one of them, and the one who works at Blue Sky Ortho. I forget his name sometimes. Sorry, his name is so unique, so it doesn't actually stand out to me. But Dr. Metter was the one that I spent the most time with, and he is the type of person that I want to be, and he's the type of person that I guess like drive a lot from. And I don't know if he really knows that. I do tell him all the time, like, hey, I appreciate what you've done to me. But I don't think I've ever like put it into words and explain how it affected me. Because I think I'm a very reflective person, as you can tell from all these vlogs and everything. And to me, the way he runs his practice and the way that he treats his patients and the way that he's like so technical with his ability and the way he treats these students, right? I think one thing that he did is that he's very willing to take on students and be a mentor for other people. That's exactly what I want to do, right? The way that he runs his practice, that's exactly the way I want to do it. How his patients view him and how like technical and precise he is with his work, that's the way I want to do it. That's to me, that's what I want to be. And yeah, he really inspired me to really dive deeper into dentistry and to dive deeper into who I am and who the person I want to be. So I think one thing about me is like I love growing and I love the growth aspect of life, I guess. And to me, I think I've attached dentistry to growth and everything. So the more and more I'm growing and growing, the more and more dentistry grows with me. So I think you can kind of view it as let's like look at it like a line, right? So my life, I've always been working towards something, right? But dentistry enters in my life right here, and then it just spikes and it goes way, way higher in such a short amount of time because it forced me into a lot of experiences that I probably would never have, and it forced me into a lot of experiences that I had to like adjust with and really face against myself. So I guess I'm in love with the growth aspect of it and everything, but I grew to love the actual work in the actual field of it. So yeah, I guess I would say it's a passion now. But basically, the whole reason I love it so much was one, I can be technical with my hands, but two, I think I really enjoy taking care of people and trying to change their perceptions. I think one thing you can tell about me all the time, since especially since these vlogs now, is that I'm a very social person. I love talking to people, I love hearing stories, and I love getting to know people. And doing that at the dental office and doing that at the chair, that's one of the best experiences you can have, right? And I think a lot of people come into the dentist's office really, really kind of, how do you say it? Like dreading the whole experience. They come in kind of thinking like, I'm gonna hate this so much, it's gonna be so painful or something like that, blah, blah, blah. But then, hopefully they leave very satisfied and hopefully they leave with a positive experience and then, you repeat the cycle. But for me, I really want to make sure that that experience is really, really good. And I think an important aspect of that is understanding your patient and understanding your clientele, but also just being inviting and getting to know these people. I think I've seen too many dentists, especially the ones in the corporate world. There's like such a thing as corporate dentistry now, and it's weird. But a lot of people in the corporate world are very willing to just like, hey, just load up my schedule, like book me back to back to back to back to back, make sure my production is as efficient as possible. So I make the most money as possible. I can charge the most for the insurance, blah, blah, blah. And I can pay off my debts and do all of this career things and blah, blah, blah. And I see it all the time on the subreddit. So I think one subreddit I frequent all the time is the pre-dental subreddit. And all the time people in there are complaining about the price of admission and how, this isn't what they signed up for. They wanted a good life. They didn't want to work hard and spend all this money and be in debt and everything. But I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think when you're in a field like this, you're providing a service, right? And it's a service that's pretty essential to a lot of people because I think a toothache is a different type of pain than like a broken arm, right? And like oral issues. Oral issues are a whole different beast than any other issue around the body and everything. So I think it is really imperative that you not only understand your clientele and you can invite people in and welcome them, but you also do good work, right? I don't believe you can do good work when you pile on back to back to back to back. I don't think you get to know anybody on a deeper level and make them feel comfortable by just like being under a time crunch and making sure that you stacked all your appointments like this. I think I want to run a practice where, I can have you in, let's have a conversation for a couple minutes. Hey, tell me about your day. What are you about? What do you work? Do, right? And then as soon as you feel comfortable, let's get started, right? And I hope that makes you more open to me and more open to what I'm suggesting or my team or something like that, right? And I hope that my skills can also back that up where, I don't cause you a lot of pain or, you come in kind of expecting
to be hurt in a certain way, and then you leave being like, okay, that wasn't too bad at all, right? And the next time you come visit, I'll remember you. I'll say, hey, like, hey, how was the job? Blah blah blah. How's the kids? Blah blah blah. Blah. All these things, and I can welcome you and provide that environment, and that's what I really really want. And I think you can only really get that in dentistry. I think something that a lot of people ask me all the time is like, why not just become a regular doctor? I think regular doctors, they fulfill a different role than dentists. I think regular doctors, you kind of, how do you say this? You have that social aspect, right? But I think you see people in such a different type of way, I guess. I think some people kind of go to the doctor because they have to, or they or like how do you say it, or they're having issues and they just want their issues solved. But I think a lot of the time dentists are somebody that people seek out, right? Even though it's something that a lot of people dread, I think a lot of people equally seek that out as well. So I think a lot of people come in for cosmetic dentistry. So we see the rise of like teeth whitening and what's it called, veneers, right? That's a procedure that people seek out, right? And I think it's another thing entirely for you to come in with the expectation that, hey, you're gonna solve all my issues, and it's another thing entirely to come in with the expectation that you can help augment my life. And I think that's like the perfect balance. I want to help people, but I also want to augment their life, right? So I think one thing that I've seen a lot, especially with my experience with kids, is that a lot of people are really into like looks waxing and looking good and everything, especially in our generation. And I've seen so many kids, they get very self-conscious about their smile or the discoloration of their teeth. And I think that's one compliment I get all the time when I was on the dating apps. They're like, oh, this is gonna make me sound really fucking bad, but they're like, you have such white teeth. Like, well, how did you have such white teeth? Like, you have such a good smile. Like, what do you do differently? Blah blah blah. Blah. And that's a big, I guess, like self-conscious thing for people where they just don't enjoy their smile. But I can see just within my students how like getting that work done and getting braces, and even in myself, how that can instill a lot of confidence in them and really change how they are. So let's just reflect a little bit about that with me. I got my braces around middle school, and before middle school, I was a very, very shy kid. I didn't really talk to anybody. And, I think everybody liked me because, I was able to do all this stuff and conversate with people, but I never sought that out and everything. But when I got my braces, I think that's when I really started making friends and being more social. And especially when I got them off, I think I got them off and it really instilled a confidence boost in me because throughout my life, my early childhood, my teeth were incredibly yellow. My teeth were incredibly misshapen and everything. And they went out in and out and blah blah blah, and I eventually got to a point where freaking one of the doctors recommended I get like plastic surgery because I look so bad. So yeah, it's hard to be like an 8-year-old and hearing that you look so bad that you need plastic surgery. But thankfully my parents didn't get that for me, and I grew into my teeth and my smile and everything. But yeah, it's just something I remember being so much more social because I had that confidence boost. So yeah, I think that's a very important part about dentistry. I think I want to be a type of person that can instill confidence in people and that can inspire other people. And I think, or not inspire, I guess empower. I think it's all about empowerment, right? I loved seeing my kids like grow and be their own humans, and especially reflect a lot, right? And I think you can do that a lot in this field where a lot of people will come in, especially as an orthodontist, right? Where you start off with incredibly misshapen teeth and unaligned smile, and near the end of it, they're just a completely different person because they look at themselves so differently. And that's something that I really, really crave and I really want to see. So yeah, I think that's a big reason that I want to do dentistry as well. I've been ranting for almost 20 minutes now. This video is gonna be so long and it's gonna get no views. I'm so sorry. What else? What else was I supposed to talk about? I talked about the technical aspect of it. I talked about the confidence side of it. I talked about my own personal experience. I guess I'll talk a little bit about the process just for people to understand. So applying to dental school, from my understanding, is a lot like applying to med school and everything. So I had to take the dental admission test, and the dental admission test was a very interesting time in my life. I had gone through something during that time in my life, and it's not a wound that I like to reopen now, but yeah, it really did affect how I could study and what my studying kind of looked like. So I always describe it to people like this when they ask me how hard it was. I tell them the test itself was actually not too bad at all, but the studying for it and my mental pressure and then my emotional like burnout during it was the toughest experience of my life because it's not even just because of the test, but because of my life surrounding it, right? So there was days where I had to like schedule being sad because there were days that I was so sad that I wouldn't eat or I wouldn't leave my room or anything, or I felt really unmotivated to study, and then I'd have to find some way to motivate myself to go do it or find some way to try and remedy that. There are some days where I was so angry that I'd like channel everything into study, and then I'd get nothing inside my brain because you can't really study well when you're angry. There's some days where I was feeling like on the moon, and then some days where I was feeling literally like at the bottom, right? And I eventually broke down and I cried in front of like my sister and everything, and that was a very common occurrence where it was just a really tough period of my time, tough period of my life. That I still say to this day that is the toughest period of my life, where I was dealing with my emotional my emotional stuff, but I was also dealing with this like incredible career defining test where if you don't score a certain percentage, you write yourself off almost, right? And I see that in the subreddit all the time where these people are like, I scored this amount, am I cooked or something, right? Or they talk about something different. But it just that period of my life was so hard and everything. But I think the test itself was not too bad. I think if I retook the test with my mindset now, I low-key ace it. I think I really needed that whole emotional situation for me to happen to me, for me to be who I am now. And I needed to go through that really tough experience to be who I am now. Because after doing that, I feel like I can tackle everything. Because I've always been pretty academically capable, but I never really like exerted myself and tested myself like that. And being able to survive that, and then knowing that I am academically capable, I think that prepares me a lot for some of the struggles I'll face in dental school eventually, right? So yeah, I think that's an important consideration. But let's talk about this process a little bit. So I'm applying to every single school in Texas besides Dallas. And then I'm applying to a couple schools in other states as well. So like a few of my target schools are like in Boston and other cities in the South and everything. But I'm applying to a whole bunch of schools, and the most annoying part of the process is that Texas is insistent that they do their own thing versus the national way. So the national way is under like whole system. I think it's called like ADEA or something, or AMDS or something like that. Texas is under its own special thing. So if you want to apply to Texas, you have to do one application. If you want to apply to every other school, you have to do another application. So it's very annoying, but it's getting done. And I sent in my essays and everything, and I had to ask for letters of recommendation. I think this is one tip that you can do for your letters of rec. I've been talking for 22 minutes. I'm gonna end this like somewhat soon here. But one tip that I did for my letters of rec is that I didn't really get to grow a really close relationship with my professors since I transferred. So all the relationships I made in MSU kind of fizzled out because I was focused on my life here. And then it's hard to stand out in a class of like 300 over here. So you just have to do what you can. So what I did was I made sure to focus on having a single professor that I really enjoyed their lecture style and everything, that I signed up for their classes multiple times so they would get to know me. I tried to be more intimate with them and go to their class hours and do all these things. And then I eventually asked them like, hey, would you feel comfortable writing a letter of rec for me? And then she was like, yes, for sure, let's do it. But I ended up not needing it at that time because I thought I'd apply earlier than I did. So I had to ask her again, and I asked her like, hey, I know it's been a while, like, can we meet up and like I'll tell you a little bit about what's happening in my life and why I wanted to do this, and then hopefully that will be able to help you write a better letter. And that was like easily the best thing I did. I did that for like 3 of my recommenders, and yeah, it helped them write a way better letter. So thank you for that, and that was a really good idea. So if you need a letter of rec, reach out to your professors and offer to like buy them a coffee or something, or to meet them at their office and do all these things. What else is about the application? I don't know, I think that's about it. Everything else is pretty bog standard. It's like filling out like a job application. So you have to list your like all your academics, and you have to kind of glaze yourself. I'm pretty bad at glazing myself, so like sometimes I just have to be like, okay, you know what, this is not for me, it's for somebody else to try and get the best impression of me. So I had to put myself in someone else's shoes. This has been an incredibly long segment, and I totally ruined the flow of this video. So no more, I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm not gonna continue this video. I'm not doing anything for the rest of the evening. So this video will come out early, and then hopefully tomorrow will be very, very interesting. So goodbye for now, and then thank you for listening to me yap. I'm so sorry for it being so long. Goodbye.